Good morning guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and these are my allotment diaries where I share everything I know about my allotment plot here in South London. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button if you are new. In today's video I'm going to be sharing some of the big mistakes that I made as an allotment newbie. Now we all know that mistakes are a part of life and they're definitely a part of gardening. In fact, they're a really important part because in something like gardening, you actually learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. And I'm talking from personal experience there. However, when I first took on my allotment plot, I had very limited gardening experience, and so inevitably I made quite a few mistakes that I am now paying for 6 years later. So I thought I would share a few of the biggest mistakes I made when I first took on my allotment plot as a complete gardening newbie, in the hope that you don't make those same mistakes and hopefully save yourself a little bit of time and stress later on. So like I said, when I took on this allotment, I was very new to gardening. I'd only grown a few things in pots in my rented garden, and I really wanted a space that I could kind of call my own. And we had some allotments at the end of the road, so I took one on. That's really when my passion for growing my own food kicked in. I love growing flowers and I love growing all sorts of things, but food, so any vegetables, fruit, that is my absolute favourite thing to grow. So the allotment has just been an absolute dream, but not without its challenges. So one of the first mistakes that I made when taking on my new allotment plot was trying to take on too much at once, trying to do it all. Gardening takes time and patience, and if you take on a plot which is completely overgrown, like a complete jungle, which is what mine was, trying to do the whole thing in one go is just not going to work, trust me. It's so important to pace yourself, and the best way that you can do that is just to work on little sections as you go, and then either cover that section over when you've cleared it or build your structure as you go and plant into it. I still see people come to the allotment, take on a new plot, spend days and days clearing the entire thing, and then not putting in the structure, not covering it over, disappearing for a week or even two, coming back and it's back to square one. Don't do it that way, and it really breaks my heart when I see the amount of work that some people put into clearing their entire plot, only to find it all comes back to weeds again. Another rookie error is that when I started to build my allotment structure, I did not build a dedicated space for composting. That is a huge mistake. Now, it might not be a mistake on your first year or even your second year, but by the time you get to your third year, you're going to have a lot of crops that you need to dispose of and weeds, and you're really going to need that space. You might get away with it for a couple of years, but at some point all of those finished crops are going to have somewhere to go. So if you can build a dedicated compost area as quickly as possible, that's the way to do it. A third silly mistake that I made, though I did stop doing this very quickly because I learnt my lesson, was trying to grow things in containers. A lot of crops don't work very well in the ground. For example, carrots or even strawberries sometimes can be a bit of a nightmare when you're putting them into the ground because they can spread like crazy. On an allotment plot, what you need to focus on is low maintenance. You need to keep things easy, and the easiest way to do that is to grow things directly into the ground. The problem with containers is that they dry out very quickly. You need to be here all the time, and there's lots of tricks and tips that you will find on the internet, and I tried them all with my containers, and let me tell you, most of them dried out. Containers are better, I think, in your home garden or on a balcony or on a patio, but somewhere where you have access to it most of the time. Of course, the beautiful thing about containers is that they're small. You can put them anywhere. You can grow some carrots on your windowsill in a container. So there's really no real need to have containers at your allotment plot. It's just so much easier to grow things directly into the ground. They're going to get all that moisture. They're going to get all of that goodness, all of the nutrients, and also you can mulch over your beds, keep all that moisture in when you have heat waves. It's so much easier to look after. So big no to containers. Okay, another mistake that I made very early on, and probably I'm just going to admit I continue to make, is underestimating weeds. I still do this because come the springtime, I've cleared my allotment plot, it's all looking fantastic, and I just think there's no way this bed is going to be overrun with weeds. It's so neat, it's so lovely, everything's been cut back, I've got the little spring bulbs coming up, this is all under control, I've got this. Wind forward a few months and the weeds are like jungles, they just come out of nowhere. I continue to underestimate weeds. The best way of handling them, and I always say this, is little and often, using a hoe over your beds just to try and, when they're really young and they don't get too big and on top of you and the roots don't have a chance to really root down. I think allotments are notorious for really difficult weeds. I have brambles and bindweed here. I know there's loads of people with loads of different troublesome weeds on their plots, and yes, they are really disheartening and difficult. I will never get rid of brambles and bindweed on this plot, and I've made peace with that. I try to pull it out whenever I find it, I try to keep it under control, but ultimately I am going to continue to have bindweed and brambles here forever. And that's okay. But when you are starting anything new, any new bed, any new area, any pathway, do not underestimate the weeds because they will come back to bite you. This is a really good recent example of me totally underestimating the power of weeds. So behind all of this lovely bindweed, which is the worst one by the way because it climbs, underneath this somewhere is a dead hedge, which I made over the autumn winter in the hope of keeping all the weeds away and putting some structure into the back of my plot, and obviously I've massively underestimated the weeds. Try not to make any of your growing beds too big. You should be able to reach into your bed, into the middle of your bed without stepping into it. If you make a bed that's too big that you can't reach the middle of, not only are you going to have to step into it to harvest things and to weed and to plant, but also it becomes a little bit overwhelming, I'm not going to lie. I think personally bigger beds are more difficult to look after. I think the weeds get too big, I think they require so much more watering. I think when you mulch over them they require 10 times the amount of mulch as a smaller bed. I think it's so much easier to have smaller beds. Then if one of your beds finishes and you don't want to grow into it again, you can cover it over, you can just, shut it down for a few months. I think it's easier to have a big variety of crops if you've got smaller beds. I think it's easier to handle. I think there's a lot of advantages to making your bed smaller rather than bigger, but the general rule of thumb is that you should be able to reach into the middle of your bed without stepping into it. Another huge mistake I made with my first ever allotment plot was not planning my year properly, not planning my crops. That's actually why I created an allotment planner, which I now release every single year around October time on Amazon. Planning what's going to go into a bed after something has finished is actually quite difficult, and you need to be ready because you obviously need to sow those seeds and have that stuff, those crops ready to go when your other crops are finished. So it is quite a difficult, complicated thing, and it can really get on top of you. So making sure that you plan exactly what's going into your beds, when you need to sow it, when you need to harvest it, and what's going to replace it when it's finished is really essential to keep your allotment plot productive for as long as possible. You don't have to purchase my allotment planner to be organised, but if you want to, it is available on Amazon, and a new one will be released in October for 2027. Can you believe that? 27? What? But just planning what you're going to plant, when you're going to plant it, especially if you're growing things from a seed as well, because they need time to grow before they can go outside. It just reduces that awkward period where you've harvested something, cleared a bed, and then nothing's in it, and it just feels like such a terrible waste. So it's good to always have something ready to go into a bed, and that's difficult. That takes time and practice and real organisation. But I think it's something that can be overcome with really good organisation and planning. Another mistake that I made was putting a pond underneath the tree. Now I'm really proud of myself that I did actually think of the wildlife straight away when I got an allotment plot. I really did think about putting flowers in for pollinators, leaving some areas wild for insects and hedgehogs. And one of the proudest things that I've done is dig a wildlife pond. However, the location that I chose for my pond is not brilliant. Like I said, when I took on my first allotment, I was a complete novice, not just at gardening, but kind of all things outdoory and naturey. I was honestly completely clueless. I was a Londoner, through and through Londoner. So when I dug my first wildlife pond, it was the winter time, and I knew I was putting it under a tree, but I was thinking, oh, this is getting a lot of sun. And that was because the tree didn't have its leaves yet. As soon as the summer came around and the tree suddenly got all of its leaves, the pond was completely in the shade, and that's not a great place for a wildlife pond to be. So I think that's just general planning, but if you are going to put in any kind of wildlife pond, do make sure it's somewhere sunny. And that, I think, comes back to kind of planning your allotment efficiently. So sheds should really go into an area that maybe gets a little bit more natural shade, doesn't cast shade over a neighbouring plot. So it's usually the end that everybody else has got their shed, so just sort of look what everyone else is doing. Greenhouses need to go in the sun, ponds need to go in the sun, crops that need a lot of sun need to go in the sun, and then any beds that have like partial shade, that's where you're going to put things like potatoes and brassicas and some salad crops. It's just about planning efficiently, I think. And the last mistake that I would urge all first-time allotmenters to avoid at all costs, possibly the biggest one, is do not underestimate the slugs and snails. Sometimes even now, 6 years in, I will plant something out and I will completely forget to protect it from slugs and snails, and they will get your crops. Even if something survives for 2 or 3 days, you might think, oh, I'm safe now, this crop's going to last forever. No, no, no. Go and put something down, because they will find it and they will eat it. Having rows and rows of new crops destroyed and eaten overnight by slugs and snails is so devastating. It's disheartening, and it will just devastate you. So make sure that you do put the protection down, even if you think you don't need it. I'm telling you right now, you do. Hope you found this video helpful. Taking on an allotment plot has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I love every second of it. And mistakes are a part of learning, so don't beat yourself up. I have made so many mistakes, and if you want to see them, subscribe to this channel and you will see all of the mistakes that I continue to make pretty much on a daily basis. But we're all learning together, and hopefully just these few tips will really help you, give you a good head start with your allotment so that you don't get off on the wrong foot. Right, hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know any mistakes that you might have made on your first plot so we can help out all those new plot owners out there, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.